Hey, it's April with the Possible Diet, and today I'm going to teach you how to make low-carb ice cream. So this is low-carb vanilla ice cream. I've tried this recipe and I haven't tried any variations on it, but I look forward to the summer. Ice cream is one of those things that I just love. Like, it's one of my favorite sweets. And it was really, really hard when I was trying to eat low carb. I eventually got to the point where I would only let myself have like one kind of ice cream with like sugar-free chocolate sauce that I made. I really, really try to get sugar out of my diet, and a lot of ice cream is very high in sugar. So this is adapted from a few different recipes, but the trick is I think I use a combination of allulose, which is a sweetener that's made out of like figs, raisins, and kiwi. It's actually like real sugar. So it still has carbohydrates, but they're they're a little bit less sweet than regular refined sugar. It's really weird. On the package it says calories 0, carbs 5 grams, which doesn't add up to me, but I think that, it might be that might be that it's a sugar alcohol and your body doesn't absorb it. But no net carbs. And then, of course, monk fruit, which is erythritol, which I know is a sugar alcohol, and it has 0 calories. And it says here sugar alcohol 8 grams. So it's erythritol and monk fruit. This is a regular kind, not the golden kind. I find that this dissolves a little bit easier. And what we're trying to avoid is like crystallization. So there's a few tricks to this ice cream. Right now I have a 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Use high quality, no hormone whipping cream if you can. And then a 1.5 cups of half and half. You can use all cream if you want. You'll just have a fattier ice cream. So I like to do sort of like 2/3 cream and 1/3 milk, which is, what half and half is, I guess. And then to help with the crystallization, I add 1/2 tablespoon of Dancing Pines Brulee flavored liqueur. You can leave this out. It's totally optional. You can sub vodka if you want. I mix that into the cream so that the alcohol kind of burns off a little bit, just leaves that flavor. Another trick to make the ice cream smooth is I add vanilla flavored MCT oil at the end. Do not add it in this stage. You stir it in at the end once the mixture is starting to cool down. This is really not meant to be heated, so you just sort of mix it in at the end. And then another trick I use to really pump up that vanilla flavor, stay on the lookout for Halala vanilla paste. I got this at TJ Maxx. They sell it sometimes at Marshall's or Home Goods, and that is another way to just pump up that vanilla flavor. It's like real vanilla beans suspended in a paste. So in here I have 1.5 cups of whipping cream, 1.5 cups of half and half, 1/2 tablespoon of alcohol, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of the monk fruit sweetener, a 1/4 cup of allulose, a tablespoon of vanilla. You can sub 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla and 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla paste, which I did here, and just heat this up until it's steamy. And then once it gets steamy like that, I turn the heat way down to like medium low. In here, I have 4 egg yolks and 1 egg at room temperature whisked together. And this is a trick to keep this mixture from curdling. Get yourself about 1/2 cup of this mixture, and you're gonna whisk it into the eggs in a very slow stream. This keeps the eggs from scrambling. Sometimes be a little messy, I want to call this tempering the eggs, but I don't know if I have that cooking word right. Tempering is something completely separate. So again, once the mixture is steaming, usually it means the allulose and the monk fruit have dissolved by then. You just want to whisk it into the eggs here, like a half a cup, dribbled slowly at a time to warm up the egg yolks. You're going to need an ice cream maker for this recipe. You can freeze it in a pan solid. It'll just, I find that the texture is better when you use an actual ice cream maker. I usually whisk in about, oh, we'll say like a cup of this mixture. Keeps the eggs from scrambling. We're going to strain it back over this container anyway. The mixture should be hot, but it shouldn't like burn your fingers when you touch it. It should be like a hot cup of coffee. Okay. Now once this mixture is all blended up, then you want to pour it back in here. And we're going to cook the custard. You want to cook this mixture until it coats the back of the spoon. It's nice and thick, usually like 160 degrees. And then you want to take it off the heat, let it cool to room temperature. And then we're going to put it in the fridge to cool down even further for like an hour or two. And then once it's cold in the fridge, then we're going to put it in the ice cream maker. It's really important that you don't just put hot liquid into an ice cream maker, because it'll just immediately defeat the whole purpose of further chilling an already chilled liquid. And I'll walk you through that, don't worry. So now I'm just going to stir this and cook it till it thickens. So I'll see you back here when it's thick. All right, we're back. Our mixture has thickened, and you'll know that it's the right thickness. You should heat it to like just shy of boiling. It should not boil. It should be steaming the whole time, and it should be gradually getting thicker and thicker. It's going to take a while, like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how you manage your heat on your stove. But you'll see that it'll go from the consistency of basically like whipping cream to the consistency of like melted ice cream. It'll be, you know, it'll be kind of like thick, like runny pancake batter. And so once it gets to this stage, just give it a whisk, turn the heat off, stir it for a little bit, make sure it kind of calms down, and then we're going to whisk in a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. I like to sprinkle the xanthan gum in and then whisk it because it tends to clump up the moment that it hits liquid. So that's why I use this little sifter, whisk it. It's just another thing that helps keep the mixture smooth and thick. Give it a stir. Then we're going to add our 1/2 tablespoon of MCT oil. Give that a nice whisk. Now, this MCT oil and this alcohol are going to make this mixture hard to freeze. It's going to lower the temperature. So if you've chilled your mixture down and it's still not freezing properly in the ice cream maker, try to put it in the freezer for a little bit, like, you know, like an hour, and then see if that will help. But usually the problem is that it's, you know, it doesn't freeze well because, you know, in order to freeze well, you should be able to make ice cream in an ice cream maker in half an hour to 45 minutes. If it still hasn't started getting frozen in a half an hour, you might just have to pour it in a loaf pan and freeze it in the freezer. And this is just to get any like lumpy cooked eggy bits of the custard out. It's not going to look super pretty. Now, let this drain and then let it cool to room temperature. Once it cools to room temperature, put it in a Tupperware container and put it in the fridge for 2 hours until it's nice and cool. Let it cool gradually, and then once it's cold in the fridge, like cold pudding, cold yogurt, then we're gonna put it in our ice cream maker, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, our custard is nice and thick. It's got the consistency of, you know, like cake batter. It's room temperature, so I'm gonna put this in this Tupperware, and we're gonna put it in the fridge for a couple of hours until it's chilled through. And then we're going to put it into the ice cream maker. It's very important that your bowl of your ice cream maker be properly chilled. Mine has to chill for 12 hours, but I actually chill it for 24 in the freezer, just to be safe. But I'll put this in, let it chill, and then I'll see you later. All right, our ice cream has been chilling for actually overnight. If you can wait that long, it's been chilling overnight. This has been chilling for 24 hours. This is the bowl for my Cuisinart frozen custard yogurt ice cream maker. I got this at Goodwill, so I encourage you to check out Goodwill. I got this for like 10 bucks, and it's like a $70, $80 machine, so always check it out. This goes inside, this part down, and then you just pour this right on in. It's nice and thick. Ooh, it's all custardy. It's very important that this be cold and the bowl be cold. If you have put a lot of alcohol or, you know, not enough fat in your custard, or you haven't cooked it long enough, it might not be thick enough to freeze. It's also only going to get like soft serve consistency. If you want that hard ice cream, you're going to have to freeze it after it gets to soft serve consistency. This will not make your ice cream as hard as like Ben & Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs. And then you just turn it on for 30 to 45 minutes and you'll have delicious sugar-free soft serve ice cream. Okay, our ice cream has only been churning for about 15 minutes, but it's already super thick and creamy. I like to take it out when it is soft serve consistency and then put it in a different container and let it freeze. One thing to note is this ice cream is not that sweet because it doesn't have sugar in it. You can increase the amount of allulose or monk fruit sweetener to your liking, but just realize that it's never going to be that like sugar sweet. I like to use this on my zucchini apple cobbler, which I'm going to show you guys how to do next week. I know it sounds disgusting, but it's almost like a faux apple pie. And it's reduced carbs, so it's a nice treat for summer, and you can't even tell there's zucchini in it. But yeah, enjoy vanilla ice cream. And hopefully I'll try some new flavors this summer, test them out and see how they do. If they look good, they'll make it to my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay in the loop. Thanks. Is it okay if I lick the batter? It's pretty good.